Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
Chiefs win. Cry, Eagles, cry.
Great, excited to be back in the league.
You know, every day I got the Three Stooges in the studio with me is a good fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So let's make sure he gets that bag.
Frauds. Frauds. Woo!
Justin's way ahead in picks. That's all that you need to fucking know.
Show's over.
Show's over. We're going home. I would like to welcome you back to another page of the Playbook Sports Podcast. So let's just jump into our round of Sweet 16 here. Let's make our Sweet 16 picks. And I don't want to go in order of the schedule. I'm just going to go in order of the brackets. That's just easier for me going forward. And we're just going to do the Sweet 16. We won't do Elite Eight or Final Four or anything. We will just go straight through. So our first game, we've got Alabama and San Diego State. San Diego State looked really good against Furman. I mean, blew Furman out of the water, beat them by 23 points. But their first round against Charleston was real close, really sweaty. But that San Diego State defense, man, I can't talk about it enough. Like, I've been harping on it. You know, the most points they've allowed this entire month of March is 61 at one point. Let's see, they allowed 61 to Colorado State. It's the most points they've allowed. They only gave up 57 to Charleston and only 52 to Furman, who is a high scoring team. Furman scores. That's what they do. And San Diego State held them down really impressively. But on the other side of that game, you've got probably the best team in the tournament in Alabama. Yeah. And if we were picking spreads, I'd be interested in that conversation. Yeah. But we're not. We're picking money lines. And it's impossible for me to pick against Alabama.
Yeah. Right there with you. I got to say, Brandon Miller's going to need to show up big time.
Yeah.
In this game. They sort of struggled the first two games, but the rest of the team, that's why they're the number one seed. They're so damn built around him in general. San Diego State, good run. I will say how much of Furman, you know, they win on the buzzer beater-ish shot, 2 seconds left shot. Maybe shouldn't have been here. Playing on a little bit of a high emotion game prior, coming down back to earth. San Diego State's defense really locked them up. Will they be able to do it against Bama, though? We'll see. And Bama can throw defense right back at them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ride with Bama as well. It's an easy pick because it's a 1. But, I mean, I have that team in my championship game against Texas. So I'm going to ride with them.
Yep. Not much more to say here, boys.
Yeah.
Alabama, they look start to finish like the best team so far, to me at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we all have like our favorite bets and like best bets for Sweet 16. I figure we'll just do those at the end, come back to them. Okay. All right. Good. On the same page. Next up in the South region, the other game we've got is Creighton, who has looked fantastic against Princeton, who has also looked really, really good. Not even just for a 15 seed. Like, they have shown up and taken care of business, man. Like, they were the better team on the court against Arizona, and by far the better team on the court when it came to playing Missouri. But they're coming up against another team that I think will give Alabama some trouble in the Elite Eight. I think Creighton and Bama is going to be awesome basketball. So give me Creighton to beat Princeton in this Sweet 16 matchup.
Man, it's a tough one. Creighton is rolling right now. And again, Ken Pom, I'm going to bring it up one more time. But they're one of the teams that have the national title formula. But Princeton, man, they got 3 seniors and a junior starting. A lot of depth, a lot of experience, especially in this tourney. And the way they're rolling right now, man, that's really tough. And if spreads are on the line, I think I'd be riding Princeton's spread all day.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with Creighton though for the W, and ends a Cinderella run.
Yeah,
16's far enough.
I agree with you. Spreads, I'm looking at Princeton because it's 10.
Yeah, I love that. That's disrespectful.
Oh, that seems a little high. I'm going Creighton as well. I mean, we've talked about it enough. I talked about it a little bit in the TikTok preview. I gave out Creighton as a pick over Baylor whenever they played over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have the big, they have the point guard, they have Nimhard as their guard, Kolkbrenner is the big. They have a couple of good wings as well. Bailey, I think it's Baylor Shireman. It's funny, kid for Creighton's first name is Baylor, and they were playing Baylor, so I'm sure there was bullshit little jokes about that. Well, they have this other guy on the wing, Alexander, who just is electric from 3. Creighton does. And so a lot of the backlash has been, is McDermott even a good coach? That's kind of been the argument the last few years, and I think they're good enough, man. I might Creighton the rest of the way. If I had to redo a bracket right now,
they'd be going pretty far. We'll see though. Bama.
That Bama great matchup would be interesting. It'd be interesting.
Good game.
Give me Creighton.
So sweep for Bama and sweep for Creighton, which means one of them's guaranteed losing.
Both.
100%.
Guaranteed.
Both. Yeah, both.
Next up, we've got one of the Cinderellas still playing in Florida Atlantic, coming up against Tennessee. I am sticking with my pick that I made earlier. I'm going Tennessee on this one. Tennessee looked really good against Duke. They looked solid enough. Florida Atlantic beat Memphis by 1 point and then beat 16 seed Farley Dickinson by 8, and they were 16 seed. I just think Tennessee is going to finally be that team that's just too good for Florida Atlantic to overcome. And by finally, I mean be the first team that they've played that is significantly better than them statistically.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. You're only a 10 IC. Yeah, you're the only 10 IC, my guy. You know what I'm saying? You got to ride with them. Their defense is just too good.
Yeah.
Florida Atlantic ain't scoring 78 like they did against Farley Dickinson. They ain't scoring that against Tennessee. They're just not. And if they allow 70 like they did to FDU, good luck. You know what I mean? Tennessee, at the end of the day, the defense is just too imposing. They have a lot of depth as well. Vescovi, I love him. If the offense shows up at all, Tennessee has a really good chance in every game. And I just don't see how FAU can slow them down.
Yeah, sadly, I'll pick Tennessee here.
Yes.
Watch. So I hope this is the jinx for us sweeping them.
Mhm.
Not much to say about Tennessee. Their defense is impressive. Yep, I think they got a pretty good draw here with FAU. Although if it was Purdue, I'd almost like Tennessee as well against Purdue.
Yeah.
Just because how good their defense is.
Number one adjusted defense on Ken Palm. That's freaking impressive. So yeah, third straight clean sweep. This one, I think we might have some differences. We'll see. Next up, we've got Kansas State going up against Michigan State. I don't know how or why, but I've been learning a lot about the Kansas State team recently, just from TV, I'm assuming. But that kid that they got from Florida, whose name I can't think of right now. Yeah, that's awesome. I love his story. Like, was told by Florida, we can't let you play for us legally. He was offered, like, you get a insurance buyout or whatever from the NCAA of $5 million. He could have walked away from basketball for his life and gotten $5 million from the University of Florida and the NCAA. And he said, no, I'm not done. I'm not done playing. Goes to Kansas State, who has been bad recently. They, like, the last few years, garbage. And goes to Kansas State and completely transforms them into a very respectable team, a team that just looked really strong last week against Kentucky. But I think this is where their run ends. And I'm going with the upset based on seedings. I'm going with Michigan State. I'm riding the hot hand. They have looked awesome. I mean, they were very good against USC. I've been trying to find ways to, like, pick against Michigan State, and I'm having trouble doing it. And they're a favorite for some reason. Now, if we were doing, I don't know how they're a favorite, but they are. They're a 2-point favorite right now. But Michigan State looked really good against Marquette. Beat them by 9 points. Looked solid against USC, who I had beating Michigan State. So I'm sticking with the hot hand here. Michigan State's been there, done that. This Kansas State team is here after not being anywhere close to this point in the season the last several years. So this is experience that wins. Shout out Gold Fighting Bulls.
Love that.
Shout out, Kev.
Shout out Kevo.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of that. I think this is where the run ends for Michigan State. I think they're happy to make it here, beating Marquette and a tough game after USC. But this will be a good game. Tom Izzo's having the boys ready to play, and they're close, man. You got only a couple more games ahead of you. But I love Marquise Noel as well for Kansas State as a guard. I mean, he's averaging 17 and 8 for the year. So it's not just Keontae, but he is the main player there, the main guy. But Michigan State, very physical basketball team. I think Kansas State is going to be able to answer that physicality with some of their own. It's going to be a damn good game. But man, Michigan State, you put on for the Big Ten, but it's over. You're done. I'm sorry, Kansas State.
I like it, Colin.
Sounds like the inner Michigan fan coming out of there.
Maybe go blue.
Wow. The one thing I look at here is you got one side you have Tom Izzo, the other side you have, I don't think it's his first year coaching, but first year at the program, head coach for Kansas State. That's really all I need to see. And the coaching, I'm going to take Michigan State here. I do love Kansas State. I did bet on them to make the Sweet 16, and they did. So shout out them at plus money. That was completely disrespectful. Plus 150, big jokes. But you look at Michigan State's interior defense, they have one. Anytime you hear Sissoko, if you hear Sissoko as the last name, you just know that fucker is a ginormous interior defensive anchor
Yeah.
in the middle. And it showed last game against Marquette when he was out. They went on that little run in the second half and tied it back. I think Marquette actually took a lead at one point. Like a small. It puts Sissoko back in, and he's just swatting shit left and right. Nate, you talked about Keontae Johnson transferring to Kansas State. But this year, Kansas State lost their best player. I don't know his first name. I think it's Nigel. But last name's Pack, and he went to Miami. I believe there was like some sort of violations or like tampering, allegedly here or there, and his transfer from Kansas State to Miami. But I think they've been just as good without him. It's going to be a great game. Neither one of these teams is great shooting from three. I think Michigan State was like 2 of 17 against Marquette and somehow still won. But I just think experience with Michigan State, experience with Izzo, and I think they can get it done, at least defensively as well.
Yeah, like you said, it's going to be a really good game between the two teams. But I like that. I ignored it earlier, but I've always been on this show like a big proponent of give me the better coach. And there's no question that Tom Izzo is probably maybe the best coach left in the tournament when you look around. I mean, I can make that argument.
Yeah, definitely. You can.
All right, let's switch over to the right side of the bracket here. We've got number 1 seed Houston going up against Miami. Good on Miami for making it to this point in the tournament. I thought for sure Indiana was going to beat them. I was real sad when they didn't. But they not only didn't beat them, Miami handled Indiana.
Yeah,
they beat them by 16 points, man. That is an impressive win. Drake, they didn't play as well, so it's kind of confusing why Drake was such a close game, but then they come out and ball out against Indiana. But man, Houston is just too good. Houston is just so good. They're a 1 seed for a reason. Little bit disappointing in their win against Northern Kentucky, but at the end of the day, they still won that game by 11. And then they just absolutely took Auburn to task in that second half there in a game that looked scary. I mean, down 10.5 is very scary. I don't think I knew that they were down 10.5, honestly, but then they had an explosive second half, which makes me think they're turning it on a little bit. This spread is 7, and I think I would take Miami plus the 7 points because it just feels right. But head straight up, give me Houston to advance and keep marching towards the Final Four.
I'm actually going to disagree with you again. I'm running Miami. I've sort of switched up just the way they played Indiana. Look dominant. Don't get me wrong. Are they going to get 17 boards out of Norchad, Omie or Omir? Yeah. No, I don't know if they're going to get 17 boards again, but they're going to get big minutes, like you said, Colin. Nigel Pack. I love Isaiah Wong. I love Jordan Miller. I mean, they could just go all game. Love the guard combo. And guards come up big in March. Don't get me wrong, Houston has some as well, but there's your answer on Miami's side. And hey, man, it's 1 game. Like you said, maybe if this is a series, clearly that's why they don't play them. But give me Miami for the upset over Houston. I'm sorry, Jim Nance. Give me Miami.
Miami.
The only time I'm picking Miami to win.
I was going to say, wow, where's the T-shirt at? Although this isn't spread, we said picking against the Miami spread. So
money line here. I'm riding them.
Money line will go against them. All right, I respect it. All right, Colin, split vote again. What you got?
This was my shock of today. I'm going to take Miami as well.
Okay.
I do love Houston's team. However, you look at Miami, they didn't just beat Indiana. They beat Indiana at their own game.
Crushed them.
Coming into the game, I was like, all right, Miami's guards, they could fill it up from the outside, but no. They dominated inside and outside. Could be prisoner of the moment of me, but just the pace they play at, I think could give Houston trouble, especially because Houston's not a great outside shooting team.
Yeah, and if Houston starts to struggle and goes down big again with the outside shooting struggles, good luck coming back. I mean, obviously someone get hot, but if Miami gets it big and continues to play fast, they're just going to continue to pour it on. We'll see. Hope you don't go down 12, 15 points in the first half. Yeah.
Right.
But on the flip side, I'll add, if Houston plays like they did in the second half against Auburn, nobody's beating Houston. But if Miami play like they did, if Miami shoots like they did against Indiana, I don't see anybody beating them either, because they were up, and anytime Indiana would cut it, they were down 10 with like 2 minutes left in the first half. I was like, all right, cut it to like 5 before half. They cut it to 5 before half. I was like, all right, minute and a half out of the half, they're tied up. I'm like, all right, here we go. And then like, kidding, back up 7. Oh, back cut to like 3 or 4, back up 10. And it's like, oh, So they just went blow for
Point.
blow.
They just don't stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn
Yeah.
good game.
That game is going to be a really good game. All these games are going to be really good games, I think. Which brings me to the next one, a 2 versus a 3 here. I think it's the first 2 versus 3 matchup. It is. Wait, is it the only? No, there's not the only. Okay, Zags and UCLA, but Xavier and Texas. And this is one that I am really struggling to pick because I look at this Xavier team. They beat Creighton by 22 points in the conference tournament. And I think Creighton is a fantastic team. I'm a huge Creighton guy. But then they lost to Marquette by 14 and they beat Kennesaw State by 5, and the Pittsburgh was coming in hot. I will say Pittsburgh looked really good in their first round win against Iowa State, held them to 41 points, which was just ugly, ugly basketball. And Texas didn't look as good in the second round against Penn State, beat them by 5, but looked really good. Took care of Colgate in the first round, which didn't shock anybody. And I think I've taken the favorite in every game. No, I haven't. I took Michigan State. I just think Texas is a better team. Xavier is just a team that feels like a Sweet 16 exit to me. That just screams them. I'm going to go with Texas to win a close one here. I don't love it though, man. This one's going to be tough. This is almost like a coin toss game for me. Right now they've got Texas -4. I just think Texas is a better team.
I agree. I have them winning my bracket for a reason, Nate. So I'm obviously riding with Texas for this pick. But I will say both games, Texas has won, and I felt a little scared during that Penn State game. I mean, Penn State's been balling as of late. But they made it close. Texas only wins by 5. Colgate, it wasn't really close, but they never really pulled away massive. Dylan Disu is going out of is balling out of his skull right now. And Texas, are they relying on a guy that averaged 10 all year to score 20 plus? To score 17 round 1 and 24 in the second game? I don't know. Marcus Carr needs to score. Definitely in this game, needs to have a big one for sure for Marcus Carr, but I'm going to ride with Texas in a damn good game. Xavier, things were close as well, but hey, this is the tournament.
Yep.
This will come down to the wire, I'm sure of it, but give me Texas to pull it out. Yeah, to pull it out. I think I had a stroke.
As soon as you started thinking about pulling out, you just had a
No,
stroke.
I said,
no.
I'm stroking. Yeah. Oh. Let's hear it, John. Who you got?
Let's just say Texas -4 is Rihanna, and I am Chris Brown, baby.
Oh my.
I will
Oh,
be
my.
I will be betting and hitting the hell out of -4 on Texas. I think they are by far the better team.
I mean,
Oh
they
my
are.
God.
I like Texas
By
a
far
lot.
the better team.
Yeah.
If you saw, they were kind of a perfect matchup for Penn State because they were able to put Timmy Allen, who's like a smaller forward, but too big and slower to be a guard. And they put him on Jalen Pickett, and he neutralized him really well.
Yeah.
I love Texas. They're my only Final Four team left. So by default, I almost have to root for them
Yeah, I hope you go 1 of 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
for the credibility. Yeah, that's already gone. But give me Texas here. I do love their team.
Love it.
Yeah. Texas is just a better squad. Next up, we've got Arkansas and UConn. I'm a big UConn guy, man. I didn't realize it, but I really am pulling for them. I mean, they're 4th ranked team in KenPom. That's crazy. Super efficient. 3rd rated offense, 14th rated defense. I think Arkansas is happy to be there. And I think that they did all their celebrating already. I think they got all their celebration out of their way. Their coach ripped off his shirt already. They've already won their national championship. UConn's just getting started on their run to maybe the Final Four. Give me UConn in this one. I don't know what the spread is, but I don't care. I'd hammer it. I'm all UConn here.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Nate. The spread is 3.5 towards UConn, so they think it might be a close game. But yeah, I'm all over UConn money line, and I do love UConn spread even as well. But I think it could be a good game. And Nate brought up it's the win against the 1 seed. It's the emotional high. Where, like you said, UConn has been just calm, cool, collected, rolled right through St. Mary's. I mean,
Yep.
steamrolled them, really, won by 15. Arkansas, you're playing well. Not that you're lucky, the situation going on with Kansas, but it's just it's a weird situation going on there. There's not just completely basketball on the mind. That's not the case with UConn, and they're going to prove it to you, and I think UConn wins as well.
This is one of those matchups. If you like to watch the coaches freak out and sweat all over the sideline, this one is the game for you. Because
Yes.
between one guy ripping the shirt off and you have the other guy who's the angry guy with the glasses for UConn.
The angry guy with the glass.
I was like, I think this guy might be a serial killer. He just looked absolutely insane. This one's tough for me because I really want to take Arkansas like very badly.
Do it.
But everything I've talked about up to this point in like our tournament talk has all been about UConn.
Mhm.
I'm taking Arkansas. Fuck it.
Oh,
Give it to me. Debo Davis, that emotional ass post game interview. I felt that.
Yeah.
That's what whenever we win the pro am game.
Yeah, whenever we're playing 2K, we win a prime game. That's what it is, man. We struggle. We figured it out, but we struggle. We got a dub. I love that, man.
Give me that team. They have a lot of heart, and obviously we saw it with their coach how they reacted. And hopefully, he can bring it back in, and it's not just an emotional one big win and done.
Yeah.
I mean, they were a team. Multiple people have talked about it. Even their coach, they could beat anybody and they could lose to anybody.
Yeah.
So it obviously just kind of depends what team we see.
yeah,
Screw
definitely.
it. Screw it.
Another really good game for sure. Last one we've got here is another 2-3 matchup, and this one might be the game of the weekend. I would say I think that's a fair thing to say. We've got Gonzaga, the number 1 rated scoring team per KenPom, and we've got UCLA, the number 2 defensive team. These are two teams that both do it differently, but get the job done. I'm just going to look at their previous games. I know Gonzaga actually was in a bit of a fight in their last game I think it was against your team, Colin, TCU, 84-81, right?
I thought I was going to look. Oh, by the way, the biggest Hall of Fame backdoor cover I may have ever.
Oh, I was just gonna bring that up. All time. That's
Yeah.
all time status.
I saw like a plus like 111,000 odd parlay that lost only with Gonzaga spread. And if that was me, I might not be on another episode of this podcast. If that was me,
It was so bad. 0.7 seconds left. They're down
full
6.
court.
Down 6. They roll the ball. Yeah, it's the roll tactic. No one plays D. Picks it up, flicks it too. It's not even a good shot really because there's 0.7.
He went from
Smashes.
ball on the court to released in 0.7 and fucking cashed it from like 35.
That
Absolute
is heartbroken.
And of course,
heartbeat.
he's getting tweets, talking shit. Oh, why'd you do that? It's such a meaningless shot. Which I mean, at the end of the day, it is. I mean, you lost regardless.
But
But
hey, man,
He's like, I'm playing my hardest to the buzzer. It's like you can't fault him for that. But I would be sick if that was me.
I would be devastated.
I'd be fully crumbled to my knees.
oh, 100%.
God, that'd be funny to see that live and in person. Oh,
Just snapping down as I hit the knees.
I love that.
yes. But UCLA has looked really solid too. Gave up 53 points, beat UNC Asheville by 32, handled business. Tough game against Northwestern, who was playing well, playing inspired ball, but UCLA is just so good. The difference between these two teams, in my opinion, is one of them, they both have decent offenses. Gonzaga's number 1, so they're better than decent. UCLA's like 20th. That's still solid. But the difference is defense, baby. Gonzaga, I think, is in like the 90th percent for defense. They are 76th defensively. And UCLA is number 2. But UCLA's offense is 21st and Gonzaga's is 1. That's a huge difference. And UCLA, like coming into this tournament, they could have been a 1 seed. They were the number 2 team in the nation before they lost to Arizona by 2 points in their conference championship game. And that knocked them out of 1 seed status into a 2 seed. They look damn good. And they're 2-point favorites against Gonzaga. Gonzaga to win this game, Gonzaga will have to score 80 points, I think. I mean, they had to score 84 to beat TCU. They're going to have to score 80 to beat UCLA. And I don't think that UCLA is going to give up that many points. I mean, they just don't. I could go through every game. I'm very confident they've never given up 80 points, at least this season. And while you guys are talking, I'm going to do that. My pick is UCLA in this one. I've got UCLA going to the Final Four. I'm not changing that. I'm
riding right there with you, Nate. I'm also on UCLA in this game over Gonzaga. I just think Drew Timme is just going to be not enough around him, and he can't do it all by himself. UCLA is such a good team, cohesive unit. Gonzaga obviously is as well, considering they're the number 1 offense. But let's throw out pretty much the best defense actually that you can face.
Yeah.
Like you said, Nate, if they have to score 80, I don't know if they can get there because UCLA's defense allows 30 less than that practically, 25 less than that. So good luck. I just don't know. It's going to be slow basketball. UCLA is just going to take their time, take over this game. Good job, Gonzaga. I feel for you guys because your best chance to win a title was 2 of the last 3 years. With Suggs, you had Chet Holmgren. You just weren't able to get things done. And you can't do it all with Timmy by himself. I like UCLA's team way too much. Give me UCLA.
Yeah, real fast, Colin, before you give us yours. UCLA's allowed 79 points to Illinois and 80 points to Baylor. Those are the most points they've allowed in a game all year. I think that they'll have no problem scoring 80 against Gonzaga, which means can Gonzaga score the most points UCLA's allowed all season? They're the best team, but offensively, but who knows? Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to sweep here again, which is trouble for being arguably the biggest coin flip game of the weekend.
Yep.
Or at 16 part of the weekend. But I mean, you guys talked about it, UCLA's defense. Personally, I don't know what it is, but I just despise Drew Timme. I don't know what he's done. I don't think he's done anything, but it's just maybe like just the way he walks around that just pisses me off. I genuinely don't know why. Like, he's probably a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely a good dude. But
It's the way this fucking guy just breathes air. I can't handle it.
Just the way he works, man. He's twisted the mustache. Shout out Mustache Gang. So I guess I gotta love him for that.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I just don't like Drew Timme. And I've been like a Gonzaga hater over the years, so it's kind of just a perfect match for me to hate Gonzaga, everything. I think he does have another year of eligibility too.
There's no way. There's literally no way.
Swear to God, I think I saw this.
All right.
I forgot who it was, but I think he was on the Bussin' with the Boys pod. And they
He's the
talked.
same age as him.
Well, yeah, it was some guy who went to Gonzaga was on that podcast with them, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I think Drew Timme's still got another year of eligibility."
And if
That's
he
insane.
doesn't come back, he's a clown. He can get NIL money out that.
Come back. Still don't win another championship.
Yep.
Anyways, but just give me UCLA in this game. I think Jaquez Jr. and Timme probably cancel each other out. And then you look at the other part of, who else in this game. Singleton for UCLA should be mentioned in the Aaron Craft conversation because I believe he played like 160 career games, which is unbelievable considering they play like 30 in the regular season. So he's been there for at least been a full 5-year starter at least. Maybe even been there for 6 years. I don't fucking know.
That's funny. I was going to say we need to come together and we need to get Drew Timme out of the NCAA. Like, this is a grown adult about to start collecting Social Security checks, playing against college kids. That's not fair. He needs to be stopped.
He is a bucket, though.
He is a bucket. The dude's so good.
Can't stop him.
But I think the biggest difference in this game is Tiger Campbell, the point guard for UCLA.
Yeah.
You look on a few years ago, he was kind of the third guy when they still had Hockett or Johnny Juzang.
Yeah.
Campbell was kind of the unforgotten guy. Or the forgotten guy, sorry. But Tiger Campbell, I think, is the difference maker in this one.
Now he's unforgotten.
And now he's not forgotten.
His name is Tiger. Dang, that's cool. That's a sweet name.
It's awesome.
Yeah, with a Y.
Yeah, that's dope. I love that.
He's got some.
I like it.
Too.
We've got a lot of sweeps, fellas. A lot of sweeps here.
Yeah,
that makes me
We're all
nervous.
about to go over really bad. We're either
Yep.
all making money or we're all really sad.
Yeah,
We're gonna get somebody's fan base in our comment section that's just like, you guys are idiots.
you don't know what you're talking about.
Can't wait.
I
What's
can't wait.
To be fair, we are. So
We're just a couple of videos with microphones, man.
Yeah.
Yep.